Your introduction is really important in your essay because it's going to set up the structure of your argument for the rest of your piece. So the question that we were responding to in class was, Macbeth explores the fatal flaws of its characters, but none more than Lady Macbeth. So you need to say whether you agree or disagree, and then the reasons why, which will tie into your main points. So for example, you would need to say, if you agree with the statement, that yes, Lady Macbeth is the most flawed character, and then talk about the way that her ambition has led to that being the case. The other thing that you need to do is you always need to mention the text. So you just need to say that this is evident in Shakespeare's tragedy Macbeth, so that the author is fully aware, so that the reader is fully aware of which text you're referring to. A good example of this was Ben's simple introduction, where he said that Shakespeare's Macbeth explores the fatal flaws of its characters, but none more so than Lady Macbeth. Throughout Shakespeare's tragedy, it is evident that Lady Macbeth's guilt, duality, and ambition are the reasons for her fatal flaw. Oscar also wrote a really good introduction, his is more lengthy, where he said, in the tragedy of Macbeth, characters have their fatal flaws exposed, but Lady Macbeth's flaws are specifically the focus. In the tragedy of Macbeth, a main factor of Macbeth's downfall is Lady Macbeth's flaws. Her flaws are clearly shown in multiple scenes. Firstly, her ambition to be queen overtakes her common sense, leading her to make foolish decisions. Lady Macbeth also, all along, is the one who wants to go forward with the plan, even though it is clearly leading to the downfall of Macbeth's empire. Her stubbornness is also another decisive factor in the eventual death of herself and her husband, Macbeth. So there we can see the main things that Oscar is going to speak about in relation to his thesis, that yes, Lady Macbeth is the person in the play who appears to be the most flawed, and that it has an effect on other characters. One of the biggest things that I noticed from reading your essays is that we need to focus on topic sentences. So each paragraph needs to have a topic sentence which restates the main question, so your thesis, plus it explains the main point of your paragraph. Then of course you have QTAs, 2 to 3, followed by a linking or a concluding sentence that ties that evidence back to your original thesis. Some people like to think of a paragraph as a hamburger, so that's the analogy, where the bread at the top and the bottom are the structure of your argument. So that's your topic sentence and your concluding sentence, and they hold all of that evidence together, because there's no point in telling the reader quotations from the play if they're not proving your point in the argument. So the top bun is the topic sentence, where you restate your thesis and the main point. And then the middle, all of the stuffing, the meat, the lettuce, all of those things, that's all of your evidence, your QTA. And then, of course, at the bottom is the bread that's, again, like the top, linking it back. So that concluding sentence that's linking back. And so here is a really silly video to help explain that even further for you.
Hey, Hamburger. I just heard a couple of students discussing writing. They mentioned that writing good paragraphs can be compared to a hamburger.
What do paragraphs have to do with me? I know nothing about writing good paragraphs.
Well, apparently creating a good paragraph is very similar to creating a hamburger. It makes sense. Think about it. You consist of 3 parts: the top bun, the meat and garnishes, and the bottom bun. How many parts does a paragraph have?
Well, a paragraph should have a topic sentence, supporting details, and a conclusion or transition sentence. That makes 3 parts. I still don't see the connection though.
Hamburgers can provide a clear structure for writing an organized paragraph. We'll call it a Hamburger paragraph. A writer begins a Hamburger paragraph by creating the top part of the bun. The top bun is the topic sentence. Below your top bun, you have your fillings, your meat and garnishes.
So I guess my filling of tomato, lettuce, and meat represents the supporting details of the topic sentence.
Now you're cooking. The bottom bun, or layer, is like the concluding sentence. It finishes things up.
Let's see. So, the top bun is the topic sentence, the fillings are the supporting details, and the bottom bun is the concluding sentence. I guess the more fillings, or support, that comes between the buns, or topic sentence and concluding sentence, the better the burger, or paragraph is.
Yes. As long as you don't overdo it. I think we all knows what happens to those like you when too much gets stuffed in between the buns.
If there is too much, the person eating can't enjoy the taste of the meat. A hamburger can have so much piled on it that it becomes hard to eat, sometimes it even falls apart.
Something similar can happen with paragraphs. There can be so many details the reader forgets the main point, or the reader can get lost or confused.
All that makes sense. An overloaded paragraph can fall apart just like an overloaded burger. But what if someone needs all those details to make his point?
He would probably be better off having two hamburgers, or in this case writing additional paragraphs. One also has to make sure everything belongs in the paragraph. Think a minute about putting a delicious piece of chocolate cake on a hamburger.
Yuck. I don't know anyone who would like that.
Nor do I. Including sentences in your filling that don't have anything to do with the bun is like adding something to a hamburger that doesn't belong. It doesn't work.
Well, I guess I do have a lot in common with a paragraph after all. Do you think those students could set me up on a blind date with one of their paragraphs?
No way, you'll just get grease all over the paper. I think I'm done here, and I think you are over. Done.
Yeah, well, you're starting to go flat yourself. But hey, thanks for the writing lesson.
No problem. I always enjoy quenching someone's thirst for knowledge.
And lastly, I just wanted to talk about the way that you use those QTAs, that textual evidence. So Nick Greens says this: Lady Macbeth is the focus of the play throughout, and her use of language exemplifies this. Lady Macbeth exclaims, "Was the joke wherein you dressed yourself? Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself?" The use of rhetorical question is used to show Lady Macbeth's feelings towards Macbeth's decision. Describing the hope as drunk indicates that she does not like Macbeth's decision. But even as the baby smiled up at me, I would smash his head and dash his brains out. The use of imagery creates a horrifying image as to the Okay, so from here, it's all just up to your study. So now that you've written an essay on Lady Macbeth, make sure you focus on Macbeth and the witches for the test on Monday so that you've got an understanding of all of the characters and all of the play, so that you'll be ready for any question. Also, there are those practice questions on Canvas. So I really suggest that you get all of your QTAs together and you then practice what you do with those various questions if they came up. Also, you're welcome to email me anytime to show me what you've been working on. All right, all the very best, Year 9, and I'll see you soon. Bye.